I'm Lucy, and last time I made a video about why British people don't come to Taiwan. So today I'm going to talk about who does come to Taiwan. So if you haven't already watched the last one, you can go back and watch it now. And you can subscribe, like and share with your friends. So who comes to Taiwan? So before I came to Taiwan, I didn't know anything about Taiwan. I had no idea. I was backpacking and my next stop was meant to be home. And I met this group of people in Malaysia, and they were a really nice group of friends who were all from really mixed backgrounds. They were South African, Canadian, American, Taiwanese, and they told me that they all lived in Taiwan working as English teachers. And they sold Taiwan as being the most amazing place to be. They told me all the negative things in a really positive light. It was very, very interesting. They told me about the noise pollution. Taiwan is full of noise pollution. But then they started to explain the sounds of the garbage trucks and the people rushing out and the firecrackers and the trucks going by with music blaring. And for a young backpacker, that sounds so exciting. They told me about the light pollution and how at night you can't really see the stars in the city because there are neon signs everywhere. There are flashing lights, there are binglang stalls, there are 24-hour restaurants, and I was like, whoa, that sounds like fun. They told me about the nightlife and how many places are open 24 hours and work starts late. You can have a really good balance of social and work life. They told me about how overcrowded it was, the hustle and the bustle of pushing through night markets and trying to get to the front of queues. But they also told me how nice people were and how well they were treated, and why would being overpopulated full of wonderful people ever be an issue? And it all sounded amazing. It sounded so good that after they finished their holiday and went home, I emailed them a week later, I booked myself a ticket, and I came. It wasn't as smooth as that, of course. In 2009, sending an email on a Malaysian island was a mission. You had to pay by the minute. It was kind of expensive. We only really had emails to communicate. And so I didn't know if I was gonna hear back from them, but I'd already booked my tickets, so I had my fingers crossed. I went to the wrong airport in Malaysia, and my phone had run out of battery and my bank card had been cancelled, and I couldn't figure out how to get to the correct airport, and I was a mess. I didn't even know where Taiwan was on the map until I was on the aeroplane and the screen at the front showed me my destination, and I was like, oh, so that's Taiwan. All I knew before that was it was the place that cheap, tacky toys were made. I feel embarrassed to say that, but I had no information about Taiwan until they told me. So when I came to Taiwan, I was on my second backpacking trip, and nobody had ever mentioned it to me or recommended it to me, the travel agents or the other backpackers. So I was amazed to meet these people that weren't just backpacking there, but had built their lives here. And most of them had similar reasons for coming. So I think most teachers in Taiwan, they come when they have just graduated and they need to pay off their student loans. But they all have different reasons for staying. Maybe they have formed relationships, maybe they enjoy teaching, or they have started to enjoy the way of life. The longer you stay, the harder it is to go home, that's for sure. So I guess for me, I came here because I was young and excited and eager to see new places. But I think most foreigners come here for job opportunities. It was always a joke because most of the Westerners, especially in Zhongli, Taoyuan, were either teachers or engineers. And so I'd always say, oh, do I look like an engineer? Obviously I'm a teacher. Well, what does an engineer even look like? What was I talking about? But as I've got older, maybe I socialize in different circles, or maybe the times are changing, because now I see that a lot of my friends here have come because of relationships, because they've met their Taiwanese wives back in their own countries and moved over, or because they have very good jobs and their companies have moved them here for a period of time. And so there are lots of reasons why people come to Taiwan, but I think the main reason foreigners come to Taiwan is for work. Actually, during the last year, lots of people have come to Taiwan as a temporary solution to avoid lockdown in their own countries, because up until recently, Taiwan has been COVID-free, and so lots of people are making the most of that. So I don't know what sales speech the other people living here got. The group that sold me on coming here, who I'm still really good friends with. Some of them are still here, some of them have already gone home. But I wonder if they gave me the same speech now, if I would have come, if I would have found the sound of garbage trucks, 24-hour nightlife, and flashing neon signs attractive in my 30s, the same way as I did in my 20s. I'm not sure, but I'm here now, and while some of those things do drive me kind of crazy sometimes, I do also quite like them. When I go home, I miss the sound of the garbage truck. So I don't know if I would still find that same sales pitch inviting now, but at the time I was very young and very happy to see somewhere new and to learn a new culture and to experience what these guys were experiencing, because they were so happy. They enjoyed having a forced holiday every Chinese New Year. They enjoyed the city and the scootering and the lifestyle. What luck that I met them on that holiday, and how lucky I am that they invited me here, because that is what has changed my entire life. I thank those guys, like from the bottom of my heart, I thank them for bringing me here and for their kindness and their generosity, because without their recommendation, I never would have even considered Taiwan, because my next destination was meant to be home. And instead, here I am 12 years later with a husband and 2 children and a life I love. So that's my story of how I came here and why I believe most foreigners are here. But you can leave me a comment below and let me know why you came here, or your friends. If you met people and you wanted them to know about life in Taiwan, how would you sell it? Because I think my friends should get commission for how well they sold Taiwan on their holiday. Okay, until next time, goodbye. Please click like and share it with your friends. If you want to leave a comment, please leave a comment for me to read later. Thank you. Until next time, bye-bye.